If you've ever gotten eliminated in Fortnite Reload and immediately said, "My aim is terrible," or "I should have won that fight," you're probably making the same mistake that almost every Reload player makes. Everyone thinks they need better aim, a better sensitivity, better mechanics, or better movement. But after grinding Reload and watching back my own gameplay, I realized something that completely changed how I approached every fight. Most fights are already decided before the first bullet is even fired. The player that wins usually doesn't have better aim. They simply made better decisions before the fight even started. So today in this video, I'm going to break down the real reason you're losing reload fights and show you the habits that instantly make you a harder player to eliminate. One of the main topics in Fortnite everyone always talks about is aim. Nobody talks about how willingly they take 50-50 fights every single game. You see someone, they see you, you both stand in the open, both start shooting, and whoever lands one extra bullet wins. That's not smart Fortnite, that's gambling. The best reload players almost never take a completely fair fight. Instead, they're looking for some type of advantage. Maybe they have cover, maybe they have height, they're shooting first, or holding an angle. Every fight should start with one question: what advantage do I have? If the answer is none, don't force it. Reposition and wait for your chance. Because Reload rewards smart decisions more than perfect aim. One thing I immediately noticed when watching average Reload gameplay: players only use cover when they get cracked, and by then it's already too late. Good players start every fight from cover: a rock, a tree, a building, a car, a bunker. Even in a tiny piece of cover forces your opponent to shoot a much smaller target. Meanwhile, you're still able to deal full damage. That's why experienced players always seem impossible to eliminate. They're not exposing their entire body. They're constantly making themselves difficult to hit. So one way to learn from this is to watch back your own gameplay and count how many times you die while standing completely in the open, and you'll be surprised. But here's the crazy part: positioning and cover alone will already win you more fights than practicing aim for hours. And yet, the biggest mistake I see Reload players make isn't actually bad positioning. It's a habit almost everyone has. And once you notice it, you'll start seeing it in every single lobby. Another common mistake that I see in Fortnite Reload is when people try to over-push their opponents. An example would be you crack someone's shields, you hear the damage numbers, and instantly you sprint directly at them, no hesitation, and you're thinking that they're one shot and I have to eliminate them right now. But the other player already knows exactly where you're coming from, and they're probably going to be pre-aiming the doorway or whatever cover that they might be in. You become completely predictable. Instead of immediately chasing, you need to reset, reload your weapon, take another angle, and let your teammate pressure from the opposite side of where you're at. That way, with this technique, you can force the enemy to guess where you're coming from. Good reload players create uncertainty, and bad reload players become easy reads. In Reload, movement isn't about pressing as many buttons as possible to get where you're going. It's about making yourself difficult to track. If you watch an average player, they're constantly jumping, sliding, spamming movement, and panicking. And if you watch a pretty good player or high tier player, they have small strafes, small crouches, changing elevation, breaking your line of sight, and every movement has a purpose. They're not trying to look flashy, they're trying to make every bullet harder to land. Simple movement combined with good positioning is far stronger than random movement with an amazing aim. Everything we've talked about so far will help you survive in more fights. But there is one mindset shift that completely changed how I play Reload. It has nothing to do with mechanics, nothing to do with sensitivity, nothing to do with aim, and it's the reason great players always seem like they're one step ahead. We'll get there in just a second, but first there's one other mistake that's quietly ruining almost every endgame. One habit that separates average Reload players from great ones is knowing when to leave a fight. Reload is incredibly fast-paced, every fight creates noise, and every shot attracts another squad. Yet so many players refuse to disengage. They've already invested the time to get over there, they've already cracked the shield, so they keep chasing that player. 30 seconds later, a completely different team shows up, and now they're pinched from two different directions. You don't have to finish every fight immediately. Sometimes backing up, healing, rotating, or resetting the whole fight is the winning play, because surviving is always more valuable than forcing one elimination. When I first started playing Reload, I blamed almost every death on my aim. But looking back now, probably 80% of those fights were already lost before I even pulled the trigger. I wasn't losing because of aim, I was losing because I was putting myself in the most terrible situations possible. Earlier I mentioned the mindset that completely changed how I approach reload. This is it. Stop reacting, start predicting. Every player has patterns. Crack someone's shield, they're probably running behind cover. Knock a teammate, someone's probably swinging aggressively. Watch someone peek a right hand angle twice, they're probably going to do it again. Probably opens up a window to get an easy snipe on them if you have a sniper rifle. Once you stop reacting and start expecting these patterns, everything slows down. It starts feeling like the opponents are walking directly into your crosshair. Your aim didn't magically improve, your decision making did. And that's what separates average players from great reload players. If there's one thing I want you to remember from this video, it's this. The best reload player aren't winning because they hit impossible shots. They're winning because the time the fight starts, they've already stacked the odds in their favor. So the next time you get eliminated, don't immediately blame your aim. Ask yourself, did I have cover? Did I chase? Did I stay at one area for too long? Did I have any advantage at all? Because once you start fixing those mistakes, you'll realize something. You are never losing because of your aim. You are losing because of your decisions. If this video helped you, let me know in the comments. What's the biggest mistake you think you make in reload fights? And if you're trying to improve every week, make sure to subscribe because we got plenty more reload guides coming soon. My name's Mac, and I'll see you in the next one.